Everything looks perfect on the surface, the grand estate, the ballroom smiles, the laughter echoing through Bridgerton House. But behind those glittering chandeliers, something is shifting. The love story that once burned so brightly between Kate and Anthony is about to face its biggest test yet, because in part 2, their greatest challenge won't come from scandal or society. It will come from each other, after the whirlwind of passion and chaos in part 1. Part 2 opens with peace, or at least the illusion of it. Kate and Anthony have finally settled into married life. And for a brief moment, the Ton sees them as the picture of harmony. They are no longer the couple fighting against all odds. They are now the Viscount and Viscountess Bridgerton, the leaders of one of London's most powerful families. Every morning begins with order, grace, and quiet. Affection. The audience can feel it. They've found their rhythm. But beneath that calm, something feels delicate. Anthony is still learning how to balance love with leadership. His days are filled with estate meetings, family affairs, and decisions that shape the Bridgerton legacy. Kate, meanwhile, carries her new title with pride, but she also feels the invisible weight that comes with it. The Ton watches her every move, how she walks, speaks, hosts, and even how she looks at her husband. Everyone expects perfection, but perfection is exhausting. As the couple hosts their first grand event at Bridgerton House, everything seems to sparkle: the gowns, the music, the guests whispering about how strong their union appears. Yet when Anthony looks across the ballroom and sees Kate lost in thought, the audience senses it too. Peace built on fragile ground. Kate's smile is beautiful but distant. Anthony's gaze, filled with admiration, also carries worry. They are deeply in love, but love in the world of the Ton must always compete with duty. And while both believe they have mastered this balance, fate is quietly setting a new challenge in motion. In this first part of their story, the tone is warm and graceful. But underneath the music and laughter, the tension is already there, invisible, soft, and dangerous. Because sometimes the calm before the storm is when cracks begin to form. Asterisk whispers travel fast in the Ton. They glide across ballroom floors and echo in drawing rooms long after the guests have gone. And lately, those whispers have found their way to the Bridgertons. At first, it's nothing more than gossip, small talk about power, influence, and the expectations that come with a title. But soon, those murmurs take on a life of their own. Rumors begin to circle about Anthony's leadership and the future of his estate. Some say the Viscount is too distracted by love. Others suggest he's lost the sharp focus that once made him feared and admired. The Ton, always hungry for drama, begins to wonder, is the Bridgerton legacy truly secure under Anthony's care? Kate, ever proud and loyal, brushes off the comments at first. She's faced judgment before, but this time, it's different. These rumors don't just attack her, they target her husband, her home, and the life she fought so hard to earn. Late at night, when the grand house grows quiet, she feels the pressure pressing down like a silent storm. She watches Anthony working under candlelight, exhausted but determined, and wonders how long they can both keep pretending everything is fine. Then comes the arrival of a letter, sealed with a crest neither of them expected to see again. Its message is short but sharp, hinting at old debts and past mistakes tied to the Bridgerton name. Anthony hides the truth, believing he's protecting Kate from more worry. But secrets, in this world, never stay buried for long. Lady Danbury notices the tension first. Her sharp eyes miss nothing. She warns Kate in her calm, commanding tone. Even the strongest houses can fall when pride becomes their foundation. The words stay with Kate, echoing through her mind as she watches Anthony drift further into silence. The shadow hanging over the Bridgertons isn't made of scandal alone. It's made of fear. Fear of losing control. Fear of repeating the past. And most of all, fear of what happens when love begins to face the weight of duty. Asterisk for the first time since her marriage. Kate begins to feel like a stranger in her own home. The halls of Bridgerton House, once filled with laughter and warmth, now echo with silence. Every smile feels forced. every conversation rehearsed. She moves through the rooms like a ghost, smiling for the guests, hosting with grace, but inside, she feels lost. Kate has always been strong, fierce in spirit, proud in love, fearless in truth. But now, her strength feels like a mask. She's torn between two worlds, the woman she once was and the Viscountess she's expected to be. The Ton calls her perfect, yet perfection leaves no room for mistakes, no room for feeling broken. And lately, she feels both. Each day, Anthony grows more distant, his silence heavier than any argument could be. He says it's business, but Kate can feel the weight of something unsaid, a secret, a worry, a wall slowly building between them. She wants to reach out, to fight for the closeness they once shared. But every time she tries, he turns away, lost in his own battles. At night, she finds herself wandering the balcony, the cold air biting her skin as she stares into the darkness. She remembers the woman she used to be, bold, free, wild as the wind in India. That woman would never hide her pain. That woman would never let silence win. But here, in the gilded cage of society, she wonders if love has cost her something precious to herself. Lady Danbury's words return to her. Power isn't given, child. It's taken, even in marriage. And for the first time, Kate begins to understand, love isn't about surrendering. It's about balance. If she continues to lose herself for the sake of appearances, their love will wither quietly, long before the world ever sees it fall apart. So, she makes a choice, a silent one. She will no longer stand still while everything she built begins to fade. Whether Anthony joins her or not, she will find her strength again. Because Kate Sharma Bridgerton may be a Viscountess now, but beneath the title, her fire still burns. Anthony Bridgerton has always believed that strength means control. Every decision, every sacrifice, every sleepless night, all to protect his family's legacy. But somewhere along the way, he stopped noticing the quiet cost of that control. The more he tries to hold everything together, the more it begins to slip through his fingers. Late at night, when the house falls silent and even the fire burns low, Anthony sits alone in his study. Papers scatter across his desk, debts, letters, reminders of the weight he carries as Viscount. His hand trembles slightly as he reads another message tied to his family's future. And he realizes how heavy leadership truly is. But beneath the pressure of duty lies another fear, losing Kate. He remembers the way she used to look at him, fierce, unafraid, certain of who they were together. Now her eyes carry distance, a quiet sadness that cuts deeper than any wound. He knows he's become a man of few words and endless walls. But how does he explain the guilt that's been eating him alive? The letter from his past still haunts him, a secret tied to his late father's estate, one that could ruin his family's standing if revealed. Anthony tells himself he's hiding it to protect her, but deep down, he knows it's pride. As the days pass, the cracks begin to show. He snaps at his brothers, avoids family dinners, and hides behind paperwork to escape conversations he can't bear to have. Yet, even in silence, Kate's presence lingers, her footsteps in the hallway, her soft voice with the staff, the faint scent of jasmine she leaves behind, all reminders of the love he's letting slip away. In one rare moment of honesty, he looks into the mirror and barely recognizes the man staring back. Not the confident Viscount, not the proud husband, just a man afraid of failing his family, afraid of losing his wife. And most of all, afraid of being truly known. Anthony's breaking point doesn't arrive with a shout or a scandal, it arrives in silence. A single moment where he finally admits to himself, love can't survive behind locked doors and hidden truths. And unless he opens that door to Kate soon, he might lose the only person who ever truly saw him, not as a Viscount, but as a man. It happens on a night like any other, quiet, calm, and unassuming. But beneath the stillness, something finally breaks. The storm they've both been avoiding is here, not with thunder, but with words sharp enough to wound. Kate finds Anthony in his study again, drowning in papers and silence. The candlelight flickers across his face, and she sees the man she once knew, but buried under exhaustion, pride, and fear. For a moment, she just stands there watching him, torn between anger and heartbreak. Then she speaks, her voice steady, but trembling at the edges. "Anthony," she says softly, "how long do you plan to keep fighting alone?" He doesn't look up at first. "I'm not fighting alone," he replies. "I'm fighting for us." But Kate steps closer, her eyes fierce now. "No, you're fighting without me. And every time you shut me out, you make this marriage smaller. You make us smaller." The air between them tightens, every unspoken word from the past few weeks finally surfacing. Anthony stands, his jaw set. "I'm doing what I must. You think I enjoy this? The debts, the pressure, the gossip, they'll destroy us if I make one wrong move. And what about love?" Kate snaps, her voice breaking for the first time. "You're so busy protecting the Bridgerton name that you've forgotten the man I fell in love with, the man who listened, the man who believed in me." Anthony's mask slips for just a heartbeat. His fear shows. He turns away, unable to meet her eyes. "If I fail, Kate, I lose everything my father built." She takes a breath, her tone softening but firm. "If you keep living like this, Anthony, you'll lose what we built." The silence that follows is raw, heavier than any argument. For the first time, Anthony sees her not as the Viscountess, but as the woman he promised to stand beside, not above. He realizes how far his pride has pushed her away. Kate steps back, eyes glistening. "Love isn't a battle to win, Anthony. It's a choice, one we make every day. I've already chosen you. I just need to know if you'll still choose me." And with that, she leaves the room, her footsteps echoing through the corridor. Not in anger, but in heartbreak, Anthony doesn't call her back. He can't, because in that moment, he finally understands. This time, silence isn't safety. It's the sound of losing the only person who truly loved him beyond the title. Asterisk, the morning after their confrontation feels different. The air in Bridgerton house is still, heavy with the weight of unspoken truths. The world outside continues as usual, as servants preparing breakfast, the carriages arriving, the tongue gossiping as always, but inside, everything has shifted. Anthony stands alone in the garden, the mist still hanging low over the grass. For once, there is no armor, no title, no duty, no mask, just a man realizing the cost of silence. The echo of Kate's words lingers in his mind. Love isn't a battle to win, Anthony, it's a choice. He finally understands what she meant. Later that day, he finds her by the lake, the same place they once raced horses, laughed freely, and forgot the world's rules. She stands there in quiet reflection, her expression calm, but her eyes distant. For a long time, neither speaks. The only sound is the wind brushing against the water. Then, softly, Anthony says, "I thought I was protecting you, but I see now. I was only protecting my pride." Kate turns, surprised by his honesty. There's no anger in her eyes now, just a quiet sadness. "You don't need to protect me, Anthony. You need to trust me. We're supposed to face things together, not hide from them." He nods, the weight of months of pride melting away. "I lost sight of what mattered. My father left me a legacy to guard, but he also left me a heart, and I forgot how to use it." Kate takes a deep breath, the hurt slowly softening. "Then maybe it's time we start again, not as Viscount and Viscountess, but as Anthony and Kate." For the first time in weeks, he smiles, not the polished, perfect smile for the 10, but something real. He steps closer, takes her hand, and the silence between them shifts from painful to peaceful. By evening, the house feels lighter, laughter returns, soft and genuine. The Bridgertons gather for dinner, unaware that something important has been restored. Not perfection, but partnership. Kate later writes in her journal that night, "Love is not the absence of storms. It is learning to dance through them." And as the music of the ton rises once more, Kate and Anthony Bridgerton step forward, not as flawless figures of society, but as two souls who chose each other again, even when it hurt. Because in the And a real love doesn't fade under pressure. It transforms. It survives. And it begins a new asterisk as the final chapter of Part 2 unfolds. Something has changed in the rhythm of the Bridgerton household. The tension that once clouded every glance has lifted. Replaced by quiet understanding, Kate and Anthony are no longer the couple pretending to be perfect for the 10. They've become something far stronger. Two people unafraid to show their cracks. Their love, once fiery and impulsive, has matured into something deeper, a bond built on truth. They've both learned that love isn't just passion or duty, it's patience. It's the courage to stay when everything feels uncertain, and for the first time, they stand as equals, not just in title, but in heart. The 10, of course, notices the shift. Whispers that once carried doubt now turn to admiration. The Viscount and Viscountess have found their balance. Someone says, perhaps love truly does conquer all. But what no one sees is how much it took to get here. The nights of silence, the words unsaid, the moments where love felt too heavy to carry. Kate and Anthony no longer chase perfection. They've learned that love doesn't need to be polished to be real. It only needs to be chosen, again and again. In the quiet garden where it all began, they walk side by side, no grand declarations, no audience, just peace. The sunlight filters through the trees, and Kate's laughter breaks the stillness, warm and free. Anthony looks at her, not as a Viscount guarding his legacy, but as a man grateful for the woman who taught him how to live beyond it. Their story, like every great love story, doesn't end with a kiss or a title. It continues with a promise. A promise that no matter what the next season brings, they'll face it together as partners, as lovers, as equals. Because in Bridgerton, love isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. And for Kate and Anthony, this isn't an ending. It's a beginning reborn. As the music swells and the 10's carriages fade into the distance, one truth remains clear. The greatest battles are not fought in ballrooms, but in the heart. And there's, finally, beats as one.